Well, this little accessory makes a huge difference to my 35mm landscape shooting, and in this video I'm going to tell you why. Right, as I sit here in my car contemplating what to shoot, I also need to decide what to shoot with, film-wise. I have a box of film here, box of goodies, and I think I'm going to go for a slow film today and shoot in a very deliberate fashion. Well, I think that's the one. Hopefully you can see behind me a beautiful scene emerging on this beautiful winter's morning, and I'm set up with the little Nikon FE over here with the little finder on it. Now the finder is allowing me to work vertically in a much easier manner than what normally. I can stand above the camera and I can look down through the viewfinder. Now I made all my adjustments very meticulously in very much the same way I would with my medium format cameras. I've gone for f11 and I've gone for a manual exposure of 8 seconds. The metered exposure is 4 seconds, but I'm allowing more time due to reciprocity failure thanks to the characteristics of this Delta 100 film. Now, whilst waiting for some decent light to appear, because I am pre-dawn, I am thinking to myself, ooh, some beautiful colours up there, and I'm shooting black and white. But never mind, because I still get the beautiful tonality, I still get the beautiful softness of it, but it does look good in colour. Right, while we're waiting for the epic light and my award-winning shot to manifest itself, let's talk a little bit about why you might want to use one of these right-angle finders on your camera. Well, 35mm cameras traditionally have you peering through that little window on the back and working really close up to view the scene. Now that does constrict you somewhat, and you'll have noticed in many of my other videos that I tend to like shooting with the bigger cameras and often with the waist level finder, where I look down on the scene rather than through the camera directly at it. Now what this tends to do is tends to make you a little bit lazy. You tend to want to hold it up to your eye and take the shot quickly. Now when I work in the landscape and I'm working with a slow film like today, I often want to take my time. I want to be a bit more considered, I want to line things up carefully, and I want to detach myself a bit more from the viewfinder, which is why I like peering down and not directly at the scene. It just takes away the distraction of the rest of the frame. It just makes me concentrate on what I'm trying to compose, and I think it makes for better shooting. Now, I've not been to these boat houses since I crashed my drone trying to fly through one of them. Ooh, that was expensive. Right, I'm just lining myself up with another carefully composed shot, and I think I'll put a yellow filter on. A little bit of definition in that sky now, just a bit of colour, a bit of blue. And also I've got these ferns in the foreground, so they're going to benefit from being lifted a little bit by the yellow filter. Not much, but worth having. Add an extra stop of exposure to the f11 at half a second, so let's make that 1 second, and away we go. Now I think my approach for today is the right one, in that I'm slowing right down. Even with a 400 speed film, I would probably suffer with hand holding. It's quite dull today, and I don't want to be bothered with all that compromise in terms of aperture and depth of field, so I've gone for the tripod. Now it's only a small tripod, it's a very lightweight aluminium Velbon, but it's sufficient for the 35mm camera, particularly as there's no wind around, and I'm using the little mirror up feature which these Nikons have, where you set the self timer, it flips the mirror, takes the exposure, flips the mirror back. And again, the angle finder. Now the angle finder has allowed me to detach myself from the scene. It has slowed me down to the same sort of speed I would work with my Bronica. I just don't feel hurried today. It started out slowly and I'm feeling more and more confident as I go on. I'm just not frustrated by the technical limitations of the camera. Now, I took my favourite image from 2021 from this position with a Bronica SQ camera, and the reason I took it and the reason I liked it so much is because I had a waist level finder. I would never have seen that image had I been shooting with a traditional eye level finder. I held the camera low down and I walked around in the scene until I spotted the composition which was perfect for that camera format with the wide angle lens. I can emulate that with the little finder here because I can get low down and see it quite easily. Otherwise I'd have to get really, really low down and hurt my knees and back. This makes it much easier. Now, I'm not for 1 minute pretending this image is going to be anything like as good as last year's image. It isn't. The light's wrong. The focal length isn't ideal. This is a standard lens and it's not in the square format. It needs the square format. But the point is, with this finder, I can get down low relatively easily and see compositions that I would normally skip with a 35mm camera. Now, another feature advantage of these right angle finders, some of them have a magnification factor, maybe of 2, which allows you to do a little click on the barrel and it obviously magnifies the center portion of the viewfinder. Now, that allows you to get really close in for detailed macro work. It gives you critical focusing. I must admit, I'd quite like it today on a couple of the shots because it's a bit dull, even though I've got a bright screen in my Nikon FE. And they may well be worth looking out for one of the later premium models. Mine's a DR3, which is an early one for the Nikon FEs. There's ones for all the various Nikon models right up to the present day. Depending on what camera you've got, it probably is going to be worth the £50 to £100 investment to get one of these if you shoot film and landscapes on a regular basis. I'll never get tired of photographing this scene. Sorry, ladies. Right, another one that necessitates the tripod, slow shutter speeds, 1 second in this instance at f/16, because it's dull and I have a yellow filter on and I want to provide more exposure for the foreground. So let me just frame it up finally. Yeah, it's pretty good. So self timer, stand back, 1 second, fantastic. Well, if you'd like to see more of me shooting with this lovely little right angle finder on my Nikon FE, check out this video here where I go shooting with ADOX CMS20, a super slow film which necessitated a really deliberate, careful approach. Hope you enjoyed the video, and as ever, I'll see you again soon.